How are you going to write the story of your life? Now, heading to business school provides some MBA students with an opportunity to travel thousands of miles from some of the early chapters of their lives, where they grew up or where perhaps they got their first job. And if you're going to head to Europe, then why not go to the political capital or the continent's largest maritime city? So for this Centre Court session, we're looking at studying your MBA in Belgium or in the Netherlands. And I'm delighted to welcome Delaney Debinski. Delaney is at the Vlerick Business School, studying at the moment. So we're in between classes. She had studied media and communications at the University of Maryland, theatre in there too, and then a marketing specialist who was producing and writing for the Warner Brothers before she generated long content for Mr. Beast's YouTube channel. I'm very envious of the 300 million views that you achieved on each of those videos, Dylan. And then
Thank you.
brand touring for the Hilton Hotel Group. Katherine Aliste is studied at the Rotterdam School of Management. She graduated 2 years ago, had studied chemical engineering at USM in Chile. Those are those thousands of miles that I was describing, and 10 years working in strategy, operations, resource management. She's passionate about sustainability and energy transition. The Netherlands is a great place to be for that, and now at one of Europe's largest transport companies, Samskip. Welcome, both of you. And Delaney, that was just a brief intro. You clearly know how to write the story of yours and other people's lives. Tell us just a little bit about your background, and of course, what then led to going back to business school.
Of course, thank you, Matt, for the wonderful, wonderful intro and the warm greetings here. I'm honored to speak on behalf of my experience at Vlerick, but to give you a bit of my background. So obviously I'm Delaney, and as you touched on, I come from a creative communications background. So I've worked for about 6 years in creative direction, ideation, marketing, and that was all based in the US, though I was working quite internationally, which brought me to Vlerick in Belgium for my MBA now.
Right, great. And Harvard Business School looks at research when they're looking at candidates. They talk about, what is it, the left side of someone's brain, and that's the logic, the analytics, but also the right side of people's brain, which is that creative side and storytelling. Was business school the opportunity to bring those two together?
I think you hit the nail on the head. It honestly is. And in the YouTube world, we talk often about the left side and the importance of analytics. But you're right. The right side and creativity is just as important, or selfishly, if not more important. So Vlerick is a great way to really lean into both.
Catherine, we're delighted to get into your brain, or at least hear some of the stories that are stored in there. Again, just a brief introduction and the idea of heading to the Netherlands for your business school studies.
Thank you. Happy to be here with you and happy to meet you both. As you mentioned previously, I'm coming from Valparaíso, Chile, which is a little bit far from here. And I was working in mining before coming here for 10 years in the north of Chile, in the desert, actually. So catching up with the rain here in the Netherlands. It's been a lovely journey, yes.
Well, I'm sure there are many more people in the city of Rotterdam than there were out in into the desert coming into a community. I don't know with BHP or in the broader sort of energy sector and resources sector, if many people go to business school, perhaps not as many as bankers and consultants. For you, how did you then decide that going to business school, getting an MBA, was the right next step for you?
Well, that is a very interesting question, Matt. I was working in strategy in my last years, and I thought it was important for me to be able to create a robust business plan aligning with sustainability aspects with international legislations. So I wanted to take the lead on that for myself and to learn for that for my company as well.
Delaney, you've obviously focused on institutional brands or Mr. Beast and his brand. Going back to business school, was that part of developing your own personal brand? What led you to choose to do an MBA?
So I honestly had been really excited about working in Europe, and I found it quite tough to make the move from the US and from those really dedicated brands there and that work culture directly to a full-time employer. And so I thought that Vlerick and Belgium would be the perfect place to start and to really network and build, whether it is my own brand to network from or to find the right fit in a local brand here.
I guess whether by train or by plane, you're probably never more than a couple of hours from the rest of Europe. We talk about it, being the political heart of Europe. What makes Belgium such a great place to get an MBA?
Belgium is so centralized, right? It's so close. To your point, it's close to all of the rest of Europe, even back to the US. It's just a few hours to go see family and friends, but it's also a perfect place to network. And there's such a massive international community, especially in Brussels. And so I feel very, very welcome here, especially as a native English speaker and someone who's desperately trying to learn French and some other languages. I think it's a great place to start and to really feel welcome and comfortable.
Well, perhaps, I mean, the Flemish side of Belgium, they also seem to speak very good English. Has it been harder to learn Flemish?
I haven't tackled it yet. I thought I would try one of the official languages of Belgium first. So starting with French, but Dutch is on the to-do list. And some suggest that Dutch is even easier to learn coming from an English background. So perhaps I should try it out.
Well, maybe we should ask you, Catherine, learning, but also a culture, we think about a very tolerant communities, very open-minded and very committed to the environment. So, what made the Netherlands and the Rotterdam School of Management such a great place to get your MBA?
I think the Netherlands, it's a country that is walking the talk in terms of sustainability and has a lot of history. So the first stock exchange was created here in Amsterdam. There's a lot of cultural history. Van Gogh, for example, is a great exponent in terms of culture. But also when it comes to energy, which is what I am most excited about, is the level of investments that it's being done, especially here in Rotterdam, where you find this is the gateway of Europe. This is the largest port of Europe, and also it's not only holding the maritime transportation, but it's also an energy hub, enabling the energy transition. So I think those are the key elements that make me decide.
When you think back, Catherine, to your first day of the program, of course, you've applied and you're wondering, well, who else applied? Who are going to be my classmates? Was that sense of ESG, sustainability, were those themes that were common to many of the students? What were your first impressions of your classmates?
Yes, definitely. I definitely chose this RSM program because of the force of positive change slogan. And I think that's something I really found. The cohort was also very diverse, a good representation of the world. And that's something that I was looking for to find. I think everybody was very positive and had a very nice vibe that we get to meet each other throughout the year and we learn together. It was very nice. We're still in touch, and that is lovely.
I'm sure the admissions office at Vlerick Delaney was thinking, we don't have many communication specialists, creatives, and the insights and the voice that you will bring. So again, thinking about expectations you had and classmates, did you fit in very easily and find that there was already a very strong sense of community?
Honestly, yes, it was a bit uncertain before I arrived, but I was, reassured that there's profiles like mine, and in fact, the fact that there's so many different profiles that are part of the full-time MBA program at Vlerick, it made me feel very comfortable settling in. And once I got to meet all of my classmates, I quickly learned, there's engineers, there's even veterinarians in our class, and lawyers and creatives like myself. And so I think it just makes it an even more beautiful experience with such diverse backgrounds to learn from and collaborate with.
We were discussing with other students the one-year program, the intensity that involves. Do you feel, Delaney, that that's also implied in terms of connecting? You're connecting very quickly, but also in a meaningful way?
Absolutely. I mean, Honestly, I spend more in office time at Vlerick than I have in recent jobs post-COVID. I'm at Vlerick 9 to 5:30 most days with the same cohort, the same group, and there's something really fantastic to that, right? Because there's these really dedicated groups of collaboration for projects, but then outside of the program, there's a lot of, shared dinners and coffees and just moments to be real people as well. And I'll share this experience of exploration in Brussels and also being full-time students again.
Uh, Europe has many of the world's top one-year programs. That's equally true for both Vlerick and for RSM. In terms of the learning experience, Katherine, that intensity, the course load, are you trying to fit 2 years into 1 year? And is there also then the time beyond the classroom to benefit from clubs and the city and culture and everything else that the Netherlands has to offer?
Yes, you definitely have the opportunity to do all of that. I think in my thought process as well, this was part of the discussion. I wanted a 1 year program that really made sense for me financially, and especially being here in Europe, that allows you to have very good connectivity with other cities and be able to travel throughout the year if you want. And then when it comes to the everyday, it's pretty much similar to Delaney's 9 to 5. You're very dedicated to your classes, to your team projects, but also you have the time to do other things, such as be part of clubs. And in my case, I am very proud to say that I was co-leading a club called the Inclusive Leadership Club. We actually transformed it from the Women Leadership Club to be able to represent the diversity, equity, and inclusion, which was the core that we wanted to highlight from our club. And from this club, we also brought some experts in the field in terms of diversity. We brought a Dutch expert in salary negotiation. We brought a manager, a female manager from a football team, and experts in diversity, neurodiversity, and so many aspects, just to prepare us as future managers and break the bubbles that we might be coming from.
Right. I don't know, Katherine, for accounting classes or looking at balance sheets, if that's in a lecture, but there's no one way to learn. And do you mix up, work that you might do in a group, or working on a company project? Are there different ways that you feel have been very beneficial to look at different ways of doing business?
Certainly, yes. During classes, you have the obvious professor teaching you, but also there's group projects that are related with real companies. So the university does connect us with the industry in consulting projects throughout the year in different stages. And you do have to present business plans, be able to expose your work and have strategic thinking that would be taken into account from the companies. And that in some cases led to internships and future hirings, actually. So it's a very good interaction.
Right. No doubt, Delaney, a core curriculum and finance, strategy, marketing, things that they want you to consider. But how much room is there then to personalize, electives or particular projects that you're involved in, that reflect your interests and passions?
Oh, I think you've asked me at the perfect time because in a week and a half or so, I'll start my first elective. And at Vlerick, we have the opportunity to choose 4 or 5 different courses outside of, the traditional curriculum, which is quite exploratory in itself, right, in nature with different modules and different subjects. But these electives, there's even one of, I believe, video game development this year. And so it's very interesting to be able to kind of explore these different topics and have further in-depth conversations around a more personal, curiosity.
And video games, perhaps, is AI something that's an ongoing source of discussion and how that might change the future of work?
Of course, the biggest keyword of the year, I would say. We just wrapped up a digital transformation module as a part of our program, and we had a course on data and AI. Speaking of group projects and collaboration, there was a very, very substantial group project to collaborate on different AI models and how to incorporate it into essentially data usage. So it was a very, very fun area to explore. Is it something that's obviously quite new?
So we think about the future of work or the future of your career. How has the school already been supporting you as you think about transitions, next stages, industries, roles that you would like to go on and pursue?
So today I actually attended Vlerick's career fair. So instead of classes, it was a day full of networking in my background, as you can see it. This is the second floor of the Brussels campus. And so imagine it completely full with booths and with representatives from different companies around Belgium and Benelux. It was fantastic to be able to really network and speak to current working professionals in these different fields and different industries to kind of see where I could find my work home here, or at least explore different ideas, whether it's consulting or, back into the creative realm.
Katherine, at Rotterdam, this idea of being a force for positive change that you mentioned, there's also that I will program, and I think that you make a very intentional statement about something that you'll look to achieve. As you think about that through the frame of I will, again, working with the Career Management Center, perhaps at RSM, now you have this great position at SamSkip. How did they help you to think about where you would thrive, where you would flourish, where you felt that you would have real positive change?
Thank you. Yes, actually, my slogan is I will encourage women to lead the energy transition, and I think I'm thriving in it. I am already part of Women in Green Hydrogen here in the Netherlands, and this country specifically, I think it's leading the energy transition and it giving you opportunities to interact and network with people in the business. So many conferences and events throughout the year that during my MBA I was able to attend to. As a student, you do get access to a lot of formal interactions as well that opens many doors. So I think that was a key element for me. And now in my company, yes, definitely it has a strong sustainability focus that I'm applying all my knowledge in.
Now, you graduated 2 years ago, Katherine. Maybe it wasn't immediately apparent, but as you look back, were the parts of the program, maybe a particular moment you're like, wow, that was a really important moment. It may have been a surprise, unexpected, but something where you think, gosh, that's changed something in me.
I think what really clicked at the end is how fast time passes by. You blink and the program is over. I think it's a very intense year, and I would recommend everybody to really live it fully, every stage of it, because it really varies. It's very intense at the beginning, then you have the impact experience, which is also a very interesting one that makes you think. I think that's also an important part. You click what are the problems of the society that you live in, and also compare it to your hometown and think, well, the problems can be very different indeed. So you want to bring that knowledge, that experiences back home and maybe contribute in inspiring others or bringing something back home later in time. And I think that was a very beautiful moment.
Yeah. But for you, Delaney, career fair today, electives that start next week, and perhaps in the spring, trips to Berlin and Barcelona. No one day looks the same, but already a sense of perhaps something that was unexpected or surprised you, or you felt that you then learned about yourself through your time at Vlerick.
Sure. So, you've touched on the finance topic a few times now, and obviously that's at the core of many MBA programs. And I was absolutely shocked coming from very, very little financial background, other than, my own bank accounts and things, into thriving in accounting class. And so this is something that completely shocked me and even my classmates. But it was a really great way to learn more about myself and also gain confidence in new areas, and consider areas where I could collaborate better with teams at Vlerick, and then even as I expand my network and I grow into my next role, perhaps collaborating with other teams like in finance that I haven't had before.
Mm. Well, I mean, finance, accounting, lots of sort of hard skills. And often, in rankings, we measure, post MBA salary and career progression. But are there, you mentioned, having more confidence, whether it's in accounting or another field. Is that one of those intangibles that you think is one of the real benefits of the MBA?
Absolutely. This is something that I've really grown into, especially, coming out of my comfort zone, coming out of, the place where I've worked for years, but really to pursue, larger goals of mine. I think the MBA program has really lent itself into building self-confidence and exploring, what my future may look like, and even not knowing, having confidence in myself as I pursue that. And Vlerick offers myself and other MBA students executive coaching throughout our program, which is a great way to even dive deeper into ourselves, and really kind of explore what that could look like and how we can grow as individuals.
Right. Well, growing as individuals, your dean, Marianne de Bruin, co-wrote a wonderful book about exploring our own potential. I think it should be required reading, not just for Vlerick students, but for everybody. It's great. It's a great read. So, Katherine, with viewers from all over the world, you traveled thousands of miles, as we said, to come to Rotterdam and start this exciting new chapter of your life. What advice would you have for them, just as we wrap up now? Thinking, should I do an MBA? Is this the right time? Or, RSM in particular, what advice would you give people?
I think this is a once in a lifetime experience. It is worth the challenge. And especially from people coming from Latin America, or women that are the first one in our families to reach this level of education, I think it could be definitely a challenge, but it's worth it. And I encourage you to take this opportunity to grow as a person, but also to inspire others.
Grow, inspire on others. Delaney, perhaps a final word from you. And when somebody says, "So, but going back to business school, was it a good decision?" What would you encourage people to think about?
Of course, I think the biggest suggestion would just be to let go of any fear and really dedicate time for yourself and for what could come and what could be the outcome of an MBA program. And at Vlerick, the keywords and our slogan is live, learn, leap. And so I would say to not have fear and to simply prepare yourself for the leaps to come by living and learning.
With my co-host at Centre Court, John Byrne, we've been organising Centre Courts now for 8 years. It's a precious moment for us to follow the stories that people are writing for themselves and for business school. For you both to share your experience with so much encouragement and thoughtfulness was a real pleasure. So, Katherine, Delaney, thank you very much for being with us.